Hello, welcome back. It was funny on my last video, I was so nervous I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Louise. I am a full-time stay-at-home mum and started to get back into art during the pandemic like a lot of people, and it's been very slow progress, but I am enjoying myself. So today what I thought I would show you is how I do my kind of morning pages. I used to use acrylic, like art morning pages. I used to use acrylic paint a lot, but I'm trying to not use it, basically because of the mess. I'm in a very small space, so I don't want to create too much mess. So I'm trying to find a way to do loose abstract type work without using acrylics. So today I am going to be using my Gansai Tambi. I think this is set 2. It's the Art Nouveau set and it's beautiful. The colours are so nice. It's really easy to make a nice colour palette. And what I've been doing in a really cheap Muji notebook is just doing loose florals, working on like different colours, how the colours go together, different shapes of flowers, leaves, things like that. This one again, looking at shapes, loose lines, really fun. So I thought we might use this as a starting point today in my Khadi Fat Book, which is just so fun. I like the Khadi paper. It's not watercolour paper, so I am basically just using it for swatching, messing about, getting used to using my brush for watercolour, and then I've been taping them up and just like working across the whole space. I really liked how some of these, didn't like that one. There's always one that's horrific, but some of them I really liked, and I would love to take these into some ideas for stickers for next year for my planner, but we'll see. Again, I'm just doing lots of experimenting and practicing. So we'll tape this up. I'm just going to use washi tape, which really doesn't stick very well on the Khadi paper because it is, shall we do that separately, I think, because it doesn't stick very well. It's handmade paper and it takes the water really well. It just doesn't work the same as watercolour paper, but lovely for practicing. Now normally when I'm filming, that's when my art goes totally not to plan, but we'll see how it goes. We don't have to publish it. I started my YouTube channel years ago, but I have not posted many videos with me actually speaking. And when I look at the videos that I like, that I enjoy watching, it is always people talking, making art, and just a bit of background whilst you're doing your work. So I'll tape that up. What I'm noticing when I use watercolour, I use so much pigment. I am quite heavy-handed with them. So we shall see how we go. I'm not going to spray the background. I think that we'll go straight in with some. This colour is so nice. I need to try and find a watercolour. It's definitely more like gouache, this, isn't it? I think. They call it watercolour, but it's definitely more gouache. Not a technical word. And then I just start to create flower shapes and just pretend like there's no washi tape there, which is quite tricky. Try not to hum as well. I always like to hum when I'm painting, I've noticed. Don't want that. Another problem with the Gansai Tambi is there's no palette, so I'm currently using the protective sheet as a palette. get some pink in there. Oh, that's very pale. I'll go a bit. Again, this is just my first layers, so I'm really thinking of it as sketching, getting some lines, breaking up the white paper. And some work out, some don't. If I really didn't like it, I could go in with some, what's the word? Neo colours. Some neo colours would work well if I wanted to add more details. And again, this is just warming up, starting my day before I do anything a little bit more thoughtful. I'm working on some watercolour, like from tutorials. I don't normally work from tutorials. I find it very difficult. But I thought with watercolours, I just needed to get a bit of guidance. And I'm learning quite a lot. I've got them all very sort of static looking, aren't they? I think we need do something a bit dramatic. Oh, I'll turn it upside down, but I'm worried that I won't get it back in frame because it took me ages. I haven't got the best camera set up with my tripod, so I best not move it about too much. I like how that's working with a bit darker. See, it does go really thick, more like gouache, but I like it. So we're thinking about contrast, big shapes. Might bring in a bit of blue, why not? Again, trying to look at my doodles from yesterday as a bit of inspiration. Ooh, that was a bit heavy-handed. I'm not the best at leaving white space as well. I tend to want to fill up every inch of the page. Trying to pretend there's no other flowers there working over the top of things. You get some interesting colour mixes. It's very different doing something like this in watercolour than it would be when I use acrylic paint. It's hard to talk and paint at the same time. Let's get some this sort of texture in. Love the colours you can make with this. That's just like two blobs. We're going to have to get some definition in there. We don't want envelopes. And something different. What would be different? Some blue. I did use a bit of brown in my sample, so I like how that merges. I'm quite tempted to use some pencil on this. We might do that. See how it goes. See, I've just picked up so much paint there. Why I'm so heavy-handed. It's going to be quite hard to work over. When you film and your mind goes blank and I'm like, what's a flower shape? See, even on this paper, you can see you get some nice, interesting bleeds when the colours merge. It's nice. I've got nothing up here. So again, what would be different? Put in some blue. Cream colour's nice as well. So what I might do is dry that with the hairdryer, which my husband will hopefully edit out. That's still a little bit wet, but not too bad. I'm not the most patient when it comes to painting, which is probably why I struggle with watercolour. So now I'm going to look at what I like, what I don't like, and see what differences we can bring. I want that to be a bit darker, I think. So there's like some texture in the flower. That could actually be another flower down there, couldn't it? Let's try and make that. Sometimes I look at the shapes that I've created. That could actually be a flower. I quite like that one. I might leave that one now. Sometimes get a bit carried away. Actually, we'll just another bit more in the centre. Trying to do thin lines, thick lines. This one I kind of like, but it needs something in that centre. Just brings it out a little bit more. Maybe a bit more of a contrast colour in there somewhere. That is a very weird flower shape we've created. In fact, I'm going to just block that out. I'm going to let that one dry again because I'm not liking that one. But that's okay. These are not important works of art. They're just about getting going. Sometimes getting myself to my desk on a morning can be the biggest challenge. Not because I don't want to make art, it's more that there's probably lots of other things to do. I think sometimes when you're not thinking is when something just you might just make something and think, oh, I want to do more of that. And then, I do like how the Khadi paper leaves lovely textures. I think if I do make these into stickers, that's going to look quite nice. This area I don't like. I'm not sure what we're going to do there. Will this light colour work on the top? Oh, it does. Oh, kinda. Thin that down a bit. Yeah, I'm not loving that one. Get a bit of a splatter in there as well. I think I got more on me than the actual paper. Getting a bit darker in the centre. Ugh, don't like that colour. Contrast sometimes helps. Faffing a little bit there now, so I think I'll leave that. Again, not my favourite. We've got a weird blob there. Technical term. I quite like how we've got the pink there and we've left the petals white. But negative, accidental negative space there. I could just do these all day, really. Got more leaves going up there. This one is not too bad. I quite like this one. This one's still troublesome. And nothing going on here, really. So I think we need to do something bold again. I've not used this bright blue yet, so I think we'll bring that in. A big flower. Ooh, it's not as good as I was hoping. Oh, I like that blue with the pink. It's a very odd flower. But, you know, experimenting, having fun. I think that's the most important thing with art, and something I do struggle with. I am a massive overthinker. Like, what should I be doing? What should I be learning? But I think at the end of the day, if you're enjoying yourself, fact, I think I got the idea to do this when I was writing my morning pages yesterday. I'm going to try and do 100 days of morning pages. I'm going to guess you've heard of them. By Julia Cameron. The idea of writing 3 pages every morning. And I think I wrote something yesterday about just sort of loosening up, letting go, not thinking. And this is what came out. So don't like that. I think sometimes as well, if you don't like something, you can take a bit of the paint away. That can help. Let that dry, I think. See what we've got going on, and see the washi tape is starting to peel up, but we'll peel that off in a minute. Something I haven't thought about: big flowers, small flowers, breaking up the different areas with scale. I've just put absolute ton of paint on there, so heavy-handed. So we'll blend that out a little bit. It's a shame because I quite like that little flower, so we'll make that into negative space again. Ooh, that might bleed a little bit too much, but we'll see. That's a bit of a awkward blob shape. I feel like I've said blob shape a lot so far on this video. It's quite difficult talking and thinking. I don't think I could ever do like a realistic drawing whilst filming. Got some nice lines going on in this one. The flower itself I'm not so keen on, but I think I might not overwork that too much. As I say, keeping things loose, keeping things abstract even. No idea what we're going to do here. Colour the flower in a little bit. I'm just going to have to go very abstract here. And let's let everything dry again, and then we'll take the tape off. So let's take the tape off and see it barely sticks on this paper. It's strange. Right, let's see what we like and what we don't like. I really like this one. I'm going to leave this one and this one and this one. We'll put something in this. Not really liking any of these. So what I'm going to do, find a bit of paper. Not my watercolour paper. That wouldn't be good. And try and get some... we found some paper. Try and get some neo colours that kind of correspond with these. I should pick one that is totally different, but I like it, and get some white. I really like these sort of peachy neo colours with green. I think look nice. That could work. Something dark. Don't have very good greens. Ooh, that's too dark. How about something like that. That might be a bit too different from what we want. What about us? That might work. That is the Stabilo woody pencils. They're always fun. Green's definitely a problem. Oh God, that's covered in acrylic paint. I'll just peel off the other end. That's the problem with acrylics. That's kind of the colour we're after. Right. So just a few so I don't overwork it too much, which we're heading in that territory, aren't we? So I'll bring some light back into this one. So I don't like the composition, I think, is what's wrong with this one. We've got something that side, and not really much going on. So in that situation, I think we'll just add more. I am quite a maximalist when it comes to my art. As I said, I like to fill every inch of space. Oh, I definitely do like how some of the white space is showing through on this one. So I'm just blocking the background there. Tempting, but I think we've got quite a lot going on in this one now. But I do like it a bit better. We better stop. I think I'm still not sure on that one. I think, oh gosh, that's still quite wet, but we'll just get some lines going. Obviously not going for super botanical, realistic flowers. Of course, we could bring more paint in if needed. Yellow, I didn't get any yellow. That's someone bringing their wheelie bin in. I hope you can't hear that. Bin day today. Make that have a bit of a nicer shape. No, I'm not loving that one. But that is why we experiment. And I think this Khadi book is really just letting me not worry about the paper or, you know, how much I'm using. actually quite like that one a bit better now. What do I like and not like about this one? Not much, actually. I've lost the flower, I think, there. I quite like how it's broken up into blocks. That when I do abstracts, I do tend to block things off a lot, so we could make a feature of that. Make that the flower. That's a very strange shape. I forgot about this little green. I have no idea what colours my Neo colours are. They're all tiny, but I definitely know I need some more greens. Sorry about that. We might be at a slightly different angle, but my alarm was to remind me to ring my son, who is in his first week at university. He's just moved away, and that was to remind me to wake him up. So bring some more definition into this flower. I like that much better. So it's just this one really that I don't like now, but I think that's okay. I am tempted to go in with a bit more something with that flower. Let's see what we could do. How does this mix? Ugh. Too green, isn't it? I don't like that because it's going off the page, but it's just a practice. So I think we shall leave that there. I think that's a lovely morning warm up. Definitely like this one and this one. I think that'll make a nice sticker. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and whatnot. Thank you very much. Bye.